This is London Tonight with Natasha Kaplinsky.
Hello, good evening. The mother of one of the men on trial for the murder of Stephen Lawrence was today accused of faking an alibi for him. The prosecutor told Teresa Norris that she had invented the story of where her son was when Stephen was killed in April 1993, almost 20 years after the event. Earlier, David Norris himself had been in the witness box giving evidence for the first time. He told the court, "I am not an angel, but I'm also not a murderer." Today was day 21 of the trial. Ronke Phillips has our report.
At the beginning of her evidence, Teresa Norris asked to sit and for a glass of water. She told the jury her son David, who was 16 in 1993, was at their home in Chislehurst on the night Stephen Lawrence was stabbed to death. Prosecutor Mark Ellison then suggested that despite sitting in on police interviews with her son when he was arrested shortly after the murder, today was the first time she had given him an alibi. Mrs. Norris claimed it was her legal team who'd advised her not to say anything. Then the prosecutor asked her directly if she was making the recollection up. Mrs. Norris replied, "I haven't made nothing up." Mr. Ellison then said, "There's not been a breath uttered until today that you were in a position to give your son an alibi." She answered, "My son would have been at home." "I suggest you're not telling the truth." Mrs. Norris again said, "My son was at home. That's all I can say. He was at home." At the start of the day, David Norris made the short walk from the dock to the witness stand, passing just inches in front of Neville Lawrence, the murdered teenager's father. He told the jury he could not remember where he was on that night in April 1993, but he insisted he is innocent. He told the court he could not have been in the Eltham area because I'm an innocent man, and added, "I'm no angel, but I ain't no murderer." Norris also denied having a girlfriend called Cheryl at the time. Moments later, the prosecutor Mark Ellison read extracts from a TV interview he had given, where he admitted there was a 50-50 chance he had been in Eltham at a girlfriend who lived close to the murder scene. The barrister then asked, "So you may have been in Eltham with your girlfriend that night?" David Norris replied, 50%, yeah. "Were you making things up for TV?" Norris said, "I don't remember saying it. I was not party to Stephen Lawrence's death. I played no part whatsoever in his death. I'm not an angel, never have been an angel, but I'm also not a murderer." David Norris told the jury he was ashamed of the racist language he was caught using in an undercover police surveillance video. He also denied owning any of the clothes taken by police from his bedroom, which are said to be forensically linked to Stephen Lawrence. Norris and his co-accused, Gary Dobson, both deny murder.
Well, Ronke is with me in the studio. Some fairly heated exchanges in court today then, Ronke.
Yeah, a very, very lively day today. In fact, at one point, the judge had to intervene in an exchange between Mark Ellison QC and David Norris, telling them not to get into an argument, just to stick to questions. So today, Natasha, was the end of the defence case. It was also, the jury were told, the end of all the evidence that they'll have to consider in this case. On Monday, they'll return to hear the closing speeches, and that will be on Monday afternoon.
Ronke, thank you very much for the update. Thank you. Next.